I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Posies. Today's video is all about Edwardian enhancement garments. You may have wondered, as I did, how Edwardian ladies achieved that classic pigeon breast silhouette. Well, they, like we do today with our push-up bras and our padded butt things, I don't know, I think people wear those, don't they? Sometimes. Anyway, they used different garments to help achieve that silhouette. So if you pad your hips, your waist is going to naturally look smaller. And if you pad your bust, your waist is going to look smaller. Not only did they touch up photos to, fake it in photos, they also wore different things to help achieve that silhouette. Today I'm going to be making a bust improver. I will link the pattern down below, as well as a hip pad. I will also link that pattern down below. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go. As always, I began assembly by cutting out my patterns. For the bust improver, I used a pattern from Wearing History, and for the hip pad, I used a free pattern from Black Snail Patterns. I cut out my bust improver pattern. I used cotton broadcloth. I began assembly by pinning the base layers together. After sewing, I trimmed the seam allowance and turned it right side out using the opening I left. I did not follow the pattern for this step. The pattern called for binding the edges with twill tape, but I chose not to. Next, I marked the points to attach the bust pads. I sewed gathering stitches around the bust pad pieces and pinned it in place, adjusting the gathers to fit. I sewed it down with the machine, leaving an opening to add polyfill. Next, I pinned the opening closed and sewed it down on the machine. My next step was pinning gathered lace around the bust pad. After I sewed it down, I repeated all of the bust pad steps on the opposite side. Then I pinned and sewed gathered lace along the top edge of the bust improver. I also watched Anne of Green Gables to get in an Edwardian mood. Onto the hip pad. After cutting out my top and bottom pieces out of cotton broadcloth, I pinned the darts on both pieces. I sewed the darts on the machine out of focus. The pattern called for batting, but although I truly thought I had some, it could not be located, so I cut out 4 layers of cotton flannel to use instead of batting, and 4 additional layers for the top shaping pieces. I stacked my bottom flannel layers and pinned along the dart marks. The pattern instructed to cut the darts and sew the edges together by hand or using a zigzag stitch. I basted along the dart lines first since I had multiple layers. Then I zigzagged the edges of the darts together. My next step was layering the top flannel pieces. I pinned them in place. Then I sewed them along the bottom edge with a whip stitch. Next, I sandwiched the flannel layers between the top and bottom broadcloth layers. Lucius then decided it was time for cuddles. I trimmed the seam allowances and pinned bias tape around the hip pad. I sewed it with the machine, then turned it to the back side and whip stitched it down by hand. My next step was sewing some quilting to help shape the bottom of the hip pad. Okay, I am almost finished with the hip pad. I have finished the quilting along the bottom edge. I did 4 rows and then I added some grommets. They are not perfectly even, but I don't care. So all that's left to do on this is to add some twill tape for ties and it's done. I added the twill tape ties and both Edwardian enhancers were finished. I had a lot of fun making these little accessories. They really do enhance my shape and help my Edwardian silhouette. Of course, Thor and Hercules had to assist my getting dressed video. Chemise, stockings, and my American Duchess Bernadette shoes first. Corset next. I actually used long enough ties that I can put it on by myself. Now the bust improver. It can be pinned to the chemise to keep it in place. Next are my new combinations. I know it can be worn under the corset, but I thought since it's drawers and a corset cover combined, I should try it over the corset. I still need to take up the shoulders a bit. So swishy. Hip pad next. It doesn't fit under the corset, so I put it over the combinations. Then a petticoat. Thor is helping, of course. I'm using a modern blouse from Torrid, mostly because my shirtwaist was dirty. I paired it with my blue walking skirt. Finally, a pink belt. I am very, very happy with these projects. They were pretty quick and easy to sew, and I think they really do improve my silhouette. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon. If you'd like to support the channel further, I have a Ko-fi account, and that is linked down below. Please stay tuned next week. I am going to be showing all of you my Edwardian day dress that I have been working on. I'm really excited about it. So I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!